What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another installment of the Weekly Roundup. My name is Nick of the Vinyl Casket, Vinyl Casket Comics on Instagram. These are my good friends, Manny and Carlos. How you guys doing today?
Good, man. Light week, but still some good stuff.
Doing great. This was actually a really surprising week. So I'm
Surprising
happy.
week. All right.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
agree. It was a light week. Um, with that being said, this is the Weekly Roundup. Every week we come together and we give you our individual top three picks from our individual pull lists, talk about it, see what lines up. Then we go on to discuss our disappointing moment in the week. That could be anything from comics, an issue, an event that happened, movies that relate to comic books, all sorts of stuff, announcements. And we talk about it. We usually Carlos doesn't have any disappointments. He's just too happy. And then we end off the segment with our covers of the week and then what we're excited about coming out next week. We have a
Absolutely.
bracket going on throughout the whole year, doing picks of the week, picks of the month, and then each month going up against each other to determine what's our favorite book of the year.
Yep.
Last week was the first week of the month, so we each only have one top book right now. Mine was Moon Knight, as was Manny's.
Yep.
And Carlos
And
had a really terrible pick. So
nah, man,
it doesn't even matter.
mine was actually great. New champion of Shazam. If you guys aren't reading it, you should pick up issue number one, man. Best book of that week, hands down.
You
Hands
can
down.
you can skip it if you want. It's fine.
And Manny read it. He didn't care.
It's a good book. It's all right. It's average.
If you had, because you hadn't read it when we did the video, right? So
No,
if you had read it before the video, do you think it would have made your top three?
it would not have made. I think I sent Carlos a video of me adding it as like number 6 on my list. Like it wasn't last place, but it was.
Dude, just I don't know,
It was
man.
good.
Like doing it wrong, man. You
I
doing it.
know. I
When
just
he
have
said
high
Moon Knight
standards,
was
I
his
guess.
number 2 pick, I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Yo,
All right,
new champions of Shazam was that good, man. I'm just saying.
all right. So we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna start us up with my number 3 of the week. We're gonna start off hot, strong, and humid with issue 9 of Batgirls.
All right.
Okay, Batgirl Summer. We're in it. I'm loving the artwork, which isn't even Corona at this point. It's this guy Conrad. Artwork's still in the same kind of style. I'm liking it. It's fun. It's bright. It's colorful. It's cartoony. It's very different than any other book that I'm reading right now. That it maybe some indies kind of resemble it in ways, but it's
Mhm.
very unique for a DC book. Um, and yeah, I'm liking the storyline, how they're referencing stuff, going after the guy that shot Nightwing in the head. But yeah, it's my number 3 pick. I love all three Batgirls. I love Barbara, I love Steph, I love Cassie. I think they're so colorful and they're so much fun as characters, especially when you put them together. Their personalities and the way they're being written, it's just so much fun. And I like the references to like their past, and I believe that was Barbara's old roommate, right?
Who?
That girl that she gets food with.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know who that was. I was just like, "Oh, that was
I
random."
believe that
Well,
from like um the new 52 Batgirl and Batgirl Burnside. I
that's
believe
kinda
that's her
cool.
roommate.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a good callback. I didn't read it,
Um,
Batgirl, for the New 52, so I don't know.
I believe that's her roommate, or was. It could not be. I could be wrong. Call me out in the comments if I am. But I
Call 'em
believe
out,
that was another reference. Um, and I just like it. And then we're getting like what Killer Moth or whatever in the next issue.
Is that who that is? I didn't know who. I wonder if it's a new villain or if it's, I guess, Killer Moth, like you said.
It looks really familiar. The
That
tagline was something about moths.
that like that's what I was thinking too. That villain definitely looks like someone, but I just really couldn't like put my finger on it. But Batgirls is actually my number 2 pick, man, for all of the reasons. All of the
Oh,
reasons.
here goes Manny.
Here goes
Disappointment.
Manny. For all of the reasons that you mentioned, man. It's a fun book. It's just a feel good book, you know. Um, it's just fun, man. Seeing the three of them, you know, get into shenanigans, and I thought that it was, you know, cool that they went after KG Beast and they specifically referenced what he did to Nightwing, you know. And especially now that I mean, I'm pretty sure that it's official that you know, Barbara and Dick are together. I thought it was really cool, man. That she goes after the dude that like wronged her man. You know what I mean? Like it's fun, man. My favorite moment by far though was seeing Cass hang out in the library and us getting that little, you know, background on how she's discovered the books after not really having a childhood, you know, and not
Yeah,
having.
that was a really cool like
Yeah,
part.
it was great, man. And her not having those experiences. So it's really cool seeing her develop and be, you know, part of. I mean, we've always known that she's part of the Bat family, but I think that Batgirls is doing the best job of really showing, you know, how and why she has grown and why she's changed as a person. So I'm really enjoying that in this comic. Um, and also I really like seeing that Stephanie, you know, realized how overzealous she was being in her pursuit of, you know,
I
the serial
appreciated
killer.
that
Yeah,
100%.
in yeah, exactly, in, you know, the serial killer, you know, being out there and who she thought it was. And I really like that she was aware of that it was addressed, and that she felt uh remorse about it, you know. But at the end of the day, you know, the other two bad girls giving her comfort, and you know, you move on. And I really like that we're finally getting that plot a little, having it move, you know, for forward. There, in the beginning, it did feel a little bit like there was just so many different uh storylines, you know, plot points that were out there, and I felt like it was gonna start getting a little too convoluted. But I really enjoyed how this, as a story, as the issues have progressed, they've dealt with each, you know, plot line effectively without forgetting about, you know, the lingering plot lines, but developing them a little bit here and there, and then finally really moving forward to the next one. And I think that's what, you know, is happening here. So yeah, that's why it's my number 2 pick, man. It's one of my favorite books. So yeah.
Mhm.
Batgirls is actually my number 6 pick. No, I do. I appreciate that the art is getting better. The interior art. Cass. I've always been neutral about her, but like I just didn't care. But this series in general has made me really like her. Like now she's definitely like one of my favorite characters.
That's cool.
Stephanie learning from her mistakes. You guys know that I have not been her biggest fan in this book, but
Her
this
biggest fan,
helped me out a
bro.
little bit.
You haven't been a fan. What are
I'm
you
the first one throwing the tomato at her. Like, get out of here, boo! No, but I do like this series, this book. It wasn't my top 3, but that doesn't mean that it was a bad book at all. Um, and my only disappointment with this is that the Bat family can't seem to keep their identity secret. What is so hard about
Yep.
keeping when you have all that money, all that knowledge? I'm going to keep these windows that are from floor to ceiling. I'm going to keep them wide
Yep.
open and take my mask off and have my suit on inside this building. Like that really bugged me. But whatever, I guess there are no more secret identities. Forget them. People are just heroes. That's it. But
Yep.
I'll leave it at that. Other than that, it was a good book. It's just not top 3 material.
Okay.
Okay, Carlos, what's your number 3?
For me, man, you know, it's actually deceased. World of the Gods. So the Amazing Spider-Man was actually number 3, but after I ended up reading Deceased, the reason why it ended up beating it out a little bit is because, kind of like Manny, sometimes I'm just a sucker for, you know, like good emotional moments, man. And seeing, you know, Clark and Pa Kent, you know, like be rescued and reunited with the family, that was awesome, man. And then on the other hand, seeing Damien, and seeing Alfred like devastated after knowing that, hey, there was a cure, and they could have saved the rest of the Bat family members. Like, it was rough, man. I did think that out of nowhere, like, kind of Brainiac just showing up, and then like all of them seemingly being prepared for it. I thought it was a little random. But overall, man, like, once I finally caught up, I really enjoyed the DCeased world, man, and this is setting up another epic kind of showdown with the new gods. And I've had somewhat of an issue with the way that Taylor has finished some of his storylines. But the last two volumes of DCeased, the way that he's ended them, kind of knew, like, hey, there's something a little bit more that's coming. And I really enjoy the fact that we're revisiting Earth 2 again, Earth 2. And that he's bringing that plot back. But I like the action, man. I like the action. I like how all of the heroes are coming back together and getting ready for the next showdown, man.
I love the
Yeah,
combos.
yeah,
Like,
and
like
of like
Black
the hero.
Canary as a Green Lantern, Orphan as Shazam.
Yeah,
Like,
like that's awesome, man. I mean, seeing, yeah, exactly. I love seeing Cass as Wonder Woman, Cassandra as Wonder Woman. Like, that's awesome. She's probably been one of my favorite characters, throughout this whole series.
it just sucks how many characters have died.
Fucking ate it, yeah, dude.
I feel like not enough have died. Honestly, that should have been
What are you
more.
talking about? In the
Like-
last volume, all like Roy Harper was saving kids and got
Who?
annihilated.
Who? Who is that? Who's that guy?
I hate you. I hate you.
Fine, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's why it ended up beating out Amazing Spider-Man, just because of those moments. But yeah, it was close.
So DCeased is my number 2 pick, and the only reason it beat my number 3 is because again, like you said, the emotional moments, is specifically Alfred being so upset of his actions, and even though they were the right move, you feel bad for him, and he's basically, I killed my sons and like stuff like that right there. I made the mistake of reading this while I had a little break at work. So I was at work reading this, and I'm like, nope, can't do it here. Can't.
Bro,
So
blackmail, saving this for blackmail.
So yeah, no, like that, it really did hit me. I do want to say that a negative on it that I read online, and I completely agree, is that the first DCeased ended with like this looming danger of Superman isn't dead. He is undead, and he's in the middle of the sun, but when he decides to leave the sun, it's going to be a problem, right? And then DCeased number 2 ends with, hey, don't forget, Superman is still in the sun. It's going to be a problem. And then this one starts with, Superman has been in the sun for 5 years, and that's going to be tough. And they handled it within a page. Like, that's a little, like, come on, like that. You made a big deal. You made it like this huge thing, like a looming darkness, and then out of nowhere, it's just they handle it quickly. And
there's 2 miniseries in between them, right?
yeah, but they don't really deal with
No,
Superman.
I was just asking a question.
Yeah, like, and I absolutely see where you're coming from, and where other people are coming from, because I initially had the same thought, but then I thought about it, and the reason why it doesn't bother me too much is because, number one, well, I think that a couple more pages could have been addressed, right, to like taking Superman down and making it seem like, hey, this is a little bit more of a struggle, and it was. And it was glossed over, or I guess it was summarized, in terms of the battle. But the reason why it didn't bother me that much, though, is because I wouldn't have wanted 2-3 issues dealing with them taking on Superman.
That's not the story. We don't care about that. So
yeah, man. Like, honestly, I don't give a shit about that anymore, and I really would not have wanted it to turn into he's now the baddie that we need to take down. Like, we already got Injustice. We've seen plenty of storylines.
The simple solution there is just, hey, 28 hours later, we got him, like something, just to
Yeah,
say
yeah,
like later, it happened. We struggled,
absolutely,
you know.
absolutely, and
Uh,
that's why I'm just taking this as a summary. And in my head, they fought for 28 hours. You know what I mean?
right, exactly. No, and then the other reason it's my number two is just because I'm just happy it's the end. Deceased is a great series and stuff, but like I don't want Tom Taylor milking it for all it's worth. Like I don't want 12 series of this. Like it
Right.
was, if it would have just ended in the first one, that would have been great. Like that would have been amazing, and it would have made me be like, man, I want more, but I'm happy I don't have it. I'm just happy it's ending. It's
Yeah.
great. I thought it was a good story. Another thing I didn't like about it though is the confusion with Supergirl. Um, when I first read it, the first time around, I was like, did Supergirl never go to Earth, or like has she never met any of these heroes, and like this is the first time that they're gonna meet, or did she appear in the other books? Like I haven't had a chance to go back and look, but like someone online said that she did appear, and I haven't fact checked it yet. But if she did appear, that's kind of a plot hole. Like did she go straight from Krypton to being destroyed to the New Gods, or is it like she was in Kandor? I don't know. It was confusing,
Well,
to
see,
say the very least.
I don't remember Supergirl being in the first volumes. That's the thing.
That's
So
the thing. I don't know if it happened or not, but if it did happen, that's a plot hole. If it didn't
absolutely,
happen, it was a little confusing. And
yeah.
that's
And
it.
you know what? I actually did plan on like going back and seeing, because that did initially throw me off, and I was like, I want to make sure that she didn't show up, because from what I'm understanding, especially with the dialogue, is that they mentioned that they didn't want to send her to a planet of primitives like her cousin,
Right,
and that's why
right.
they sent her to the New Gods.
That's what was confusing
So
about it. Yeah.
yeah, so I guess in this storyline that would mean that she definitely has never met them, and she arrived way later than
Hmm.
she originally does in the majority of universes, because at that point, from my understanding, the New Gods had been corrupted by the
Right,
anti-life invasion, right?
right.
Which
Exactly.
didn't happen.
It's just a little confusing.
Yeah,
That's all
it
it
is.
is. Like it's just
Well, they did say she was going to sleep for a while, and I'm
yeah,
assuming Apocalypse is a lot further than Earth.
yeah.
Could be. I
Well,
mean,
she didn't go to Apocalypse. She went to New Genesis.
In
yeah,
Genesis.
Yeah.
but
But yeah, still a lot
yeah,
further.
it's weird. No, I completely agree, man. Yep.
So I don't know. I'm not buying too far into it. I thought it was cool. Let's see what they do with it.
It's
Yep.
not in your top
Um,
three at all.
nope.
I'm
Wow,
fired
I'm shocked, dude. Like,
It was
no,
no, it
like
was really good. It
shocked.
was
Wow.
really good. It's probably number 5. Um, it just I was expecting a little bit more of an explosive first issue.
hmm
I
That's
thought it was
fair.
good. I thought it set the stage. Everything was well paced, but there wasn't any like you said, like the thing with Superman wasn't like this big thing that it could have
Yeah.
been. Like
Yeah.
the thing with Supergirl was just kind of like a prelude to what we should expect.
Yeah.
The fight at the beginning was like okay, but like nothing crazy happened. Like you didn't really get any like highlights of any of the interesting
Yeah.
characters besides
Yeah.
John Kent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
know, do we have an explanation, or did I just forget why Superman has a metal arm?
He
okay.
lost his arm.
Oh, okay, I forgot about
Yeah.
that. All right, I thought it was just like what the fuck.
Yeah.
Um,
When Diana got her sword and she was trying to stop him, she ended up chopping that shit off, and then
yeah,
Soups ended up like punching her with his one good arm, and then fucking killed her. From what
Nah,
I've
he
read.
didn't kill her.
Huh?
Wasn't it was Cyborg that killed Wonder Woman?
Oh, I guess. Well,
Kind
yeah.
of,
I mean, he
kind
almost
of.
kind of, yeah, he almost killed her or whatever.
but yeah, I obviously the Alfred moment was really deep, but like, and I thought it was cool because right now everyone's going through the reverse in the regular DC universe of mourning Alfred.
Yeah.
Alfred's not mourning them, so
Yeah.
like I like that parallel.
Yeah.
But nothing was like that crazy. That was a good issue.
Yeah.
But I was just expecting a little bit more of an
That's
explosion.
fair.
Like the first time I read DCeased, I was like the first issue. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah. And
Um,
can I say too that look, I've never really cared for Green Arrow or Black Canary, not because I don't think they're bad characters. I literally have nothing against them. I've just been indifferent, like they're cool, whatever. But for some reason, the way that Tom Taylor has like written them, um, they've been my favorite part of DCeased. Like
Yeah.
seriously, Ollie and Dana have been like my favorite characters. Um, and can I just say, like, if Tom Taylor were to write like a Black Canary Green Arrow book, I'd pick it up, man. Like 100%.
I think I really like the way he evolved these characters in this world. Like Damien, John, Cassandra, every character is great. Like no one's annoying or anything in this world at all. Like no one is bad. Everyone like has just solid characterization
Yep.
in this. So, but yeah, no, that was my number 2 pick. But my number 3 pick
Oh, that's right.
was SamuraiDoggy, number 1.
SamuraiDoggy, nice.
Yes,
Nice.
I loved it. It's by Aftershock. I definitely will say recommend go pick it up. It's a great book. It was a thick book for a number 1.
Yeah, I saw that. I picked it up.
Big book.
Yeah,
I picked it up and I almost bought it. And I was looking at it and I was like,
you should
the
have bought it.
artwork was a little jarring for me. I just couldn't.
No,
The
I
art
love it,
is one of my favorite things.
It's one of my favorite. It's like my favorite thing about the book. I loved it.
The art style, the fact that like there's flashbacks in it that were black and white, and then the present is in color. I love that. And then the story is cliche, but in a good way. Like it's just like it just works. It's basically the real quick synopsis of it is a puppy lost his family at a very young age. Someone found him and helped him grow up to be like a samurai, and now he's like searching for his family because he lost his family, but not all of them. So now he's searching for his family, and
But
that's just a quick synopsis. I'm not trying to give anything
the,
away.
the most the most important part though is that he's not just looking for his family. This is a revenge plot, classic revenge plot,
Well,
and I love it, man.
of course, and when I say someone killed his family, I never said that person died. So of course he's looking for this person. You know what I mean?
I just heard you say that his family died. I didn't hear the part where you said that someone killed them. My bad.
No.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, it was just a fun book. The dialogue between the characters is really great, and the paneling is different compared to what usual comics, especially between like comparing it to Marvel and DC. The paneling is completely different, and I loved it. Thought it was a great book. If it wasn't for the emotional moment in DCeased with Alfred and stuff, then this definitely would have been number 2 pick. But for now, it's a number 1. I'm just hyped for it. I definitely recommend go get it, go pick it up. Nick, go back to your store and pick it up, or you could read it online and read it. Yeah, that's my number 2. Number 3.
For me, man, that's bordering like number 3, number 4, right there with Amazing Spider-Man. And again, it's just DC's only beat it out, like you mentioned, because of the emotional moments, and Batgirls beat it out just because it's been consistent over the last couple issues, and it ended up building on this one. But SamuraiDoggy was awesome, man. Like the artwork is just good. It's
fantastic debut, basically. Like it was just a good
great
book. Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, I think we're on to my number 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so number 2, issue 4 of 8 Billion Genies.
I knew it.
All right.
And
you're just on that bandwagon, man. How dare you?
It has nothing to do with the bandwagon. There's nothing to do with the bandwagon. First off, I only missed the first issue, and you told me read it. I read it before it got super hyped, and I got into it. They didn't get hyped until like issue 2, right? After issue 2.
Yeah,
issue 2 is really when it took off.
So I read issue 1 before issue 2 came out. I got issue 2 when it came out because I already read issue 1. I got into it. I like it. My reasoning for it being number 2, besides the artwork being really good, and there being that in the big fight scene, they show the guy from what's the other series that he did for Image?
Are you talking about cursed words?
Yes, the guy with the beard is in the
Mm-hmm.
background art getting his in the giant fight. Thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
I love that this book does so many like references to other Image titles in its artwork and
Yeah.
stuff. Besides that, I just thought the whole huge spoiler, guys. If you don't want me to spoil this issue, just mute me right now. And wait until Carlos takes over, I guess. But the fact that the bar owner was a freaking genie. And like I was
That's what
trying
brought
to
it.
come up with like reasons, like when you first read it, like how, and as things progress, I'm like, he had to have some kind of in. He has to be the reason why the genies came out. He has to be like this dude has a giant chest and he released them. And as like he's like, yeah, I'm very prepared, very prepared. I'm like, why is he so prepared?
Right.
And the whole issue progressed very fluidly and paced well, leading into that moment.
Yeah.
And I liked how all the different relationships happening in the bar kind of led to that moment. Like,
Yep.
you know, the bandmates getting to know each other better and getting better at the music together and forgiving each other, and the once dead mother and the soon to be mother talk. Like, I like how all that stuff led. He's like, yeah, I was the last genie, and everyone's like, what? And I'm just like, and they gave this whole backstory and origin story to the genies and this reasoning and how like there's like the systematic like checks and balances in the universe for too many dreams. And I was like, okay, that was like complete. Like I expected something like that, but that was completely not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
No,
liked it. I thought it was good.
no. I, honestly, I had no real issue with with this issue. I do have to say that at first though, I did start thinking that this is getting a little too wacky. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
not necessarily in a bad way, but to where I was almost getting distracted with just how like off the wall it was getting. But then it course corrected really quickly with like you
Yeah.
mentioned the moments between uh the mom and the soon to be mom, and then also seeing I forget his name, the kid that gets powers. What's the name?
Robbie.
Is Robbie?
Robbie.
Yeah, yeah. Robbie, like the scenes where he's a superhero and he joins other superheroes in, you know, taking down the people that decided to become villains, or you know that they decided to terrorize the world. Seeing him, you know, become part of that team was like, oh man, this is gonna be fun. And it was really colorful, and you know, it looked very heroic. But there's some like there's some dark shit that's happening around him, man. Like they're having to kill people, you know, they're having to kill these villains, and like he's what, like 10 years old or something like that,
12.
like
He's 12,
12.
but he
Yeah,
doesn't like the problem with him right now is like he doesn't understand if he's killing a person or a remnant. Like that's his internal
Yeah.
struggle.
And he's
yeah,
I
like
really
having
like
this
that.
whole like
exactly.
conscience.
Yeah, and seeing a 12-year-old kid, you know, like, I mean, think, you know, Shazam, but this is some dark shit, you know.
Yeah.
um it was gripping, and it was you know, a little just like it's morbid, you know. So there's some heavy themes that are playing in the background that are somewhat disguised again by how colorful and how fun this book can look at times, you know. So that was really compelling, and that was probably the most gripping part of this issue, and that's what made me enjoy it. I also really like that the genies are, they're kind of, I don't know, man, like they're kind of,
Nonchalant.
huh?
Nonchalant. They're just like
Yeah, man,
living life.
they're funny, dude. You know, like they they make me chuckle. You know, they're like hanging out in the bar, you know, drinking. They're
Throwing
just,
up,
yeah, dude.
dancing.
They're just like having a fucking time, man.
I like
And
how they
this,
all have little personalities without really
yeah,
speaking that much.
Yeah.
They all have like little designs and like
And I
different
wonder,
hairstyles.
if those personalities are like a representation of the person that they're assigned to. I haven't really checked that
I
out,
think
but
they are.
I
Like the
wonder.
rocker guy had like the guy with the skull in his chest, and
That's
yeah,
kind of cool.
I also like the mechanic that the genie that's able to that casts the last wish.
Mhm.
gets to be reincarnated and live through the next world.
Yeah, no, that was cool. But you talking about that earlier, I just now had a question of, I wonder what the last wish was. Did he explain that?
No,
No.
but
No. Okay. I
he
just wonder what
kind
it
of
was.
explained how it's like the last wish is the one that like resets everything.
Yeah, because he mentioned like this is a new. Uh, did he use the word universe or a new?
He didn't say anything like that.
I
No,
took
he
it
did.
as like the last wish was used, whatever, like, and now
This
it's
is the new
map,
world.
new world,
A new
right?
world.
But like that
Is that what he
doesn't.
said?
I didn't think that it technically meant that the last wish was used to create the new world. Like I don't think anyone has forgotten. Well, maybe now, like it's probably been thousands of years since the last time, but I don't think it was like a this is a reset button kind of thing. It was just the last wish. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean?
Yeah.
Could have
But
been
yeah,
like I wish I had.
So you're telling me he just kind of existed in this, and like for all these years waiting?
I would assume so, unless they say like, well, now that I'm a human, I have a 100-year lifespan or something. But I would assume that he would be human, but still a genie. He is still a genie. Like he's been
Yeah,
preparing
he was shimmering when they did that. The
when he
artwork,
did it, yeah,
they made him look genie-ish, but he got his own genie in the
because he's
beginning.
human.
because he's human.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's cool. But
but
yeah,
yeah, I
not a bad issue.
I accept the logic behind like how prepared he was now and all that stuff, and like the fact that he's a genie. Like I accept that. I can see that. I just didn't like it, but it makes sense.
I think the wackiness of it is awesome. I like it's an indie book and it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it
Yep.
also has some really emotional moments.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The fact when that other kid, the other super kid, gets killed, and he's like, and Robbie's like, "I'm only 12," and the kid's
He's
like,
like,
"I was 11."
yeah, like that was tough, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's and now the whole twist at the end, where like he gets into the dome and he's like, "I'm Mr. Ideas," and I'm like, "What does that even mean?"
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna find
And
out.
how
I
does he
think
have this giant dome, but he still has his genie?
no, I don't. I don't think that's the bartender,
No.
or is it?
Like the guy that has the dome.
Yeah,
He still has
He
a
opens.
genie.
He's like, "Oh, I'm Mr. Idea." He has a genie on his shoulder, and the two
Yeah.
people behind him both
I
genies.
assume that he's like, hey, he probably like went up to other people and was like, you should wish for this, you should
Yeah,
wish
yeah.
for this, you should wish for this, and probably like you should wish for me to have another genie or something, like I don't know, but that's what I assume. But
Okay.
no, it was a good book. My number 7.
All right, Carlos. What's your number 2? Oh, you did your number 2.
Yeah, man. It's back to
And
you.
and Manny did his number 2.
Yeah, man. Back
Yeah.
to you.
Back
Number
to
one.
you. What's your number 1 book?
Number one.
Okay, my number 1 pick of the week by a landslide.
Landslide. All right.
Landslide. Nothing even stood close. And I know I'm the only one who read it.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
There it is. Issue 1 of Predator. I've been waiting 3 years for this book. I've been waiting since it was originally announced and supposed to come out, and then Alien came out, and Alien's been so good and so much fun. I couldn't wait for this, and when it came out and I got it at the shop, immediately I'm skimming through it because like I couldn't help myself. I'm like, what does art look like? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, this looks, maybe this isn't gonna be good. Maybe this isn't gonna be that great. And I was like doubting myself heavily. I was looking at it, I was like, whatever. I'm gonna go home and read it. I'll read it first, whatever. And I read it, and I'm realizing, like, looking at it, skimming at it, the priestess he didn't really connect because there was flashbacks and stuff that I didn't obviously know was happening. I loved it. I love this book.
Was it better than the series on Hulu?
The movie on Hulu, Prey?
Movie.
No, because this happens in the year 2052.
Oh, so we're going to the future now.
Future.
Right.
The movie was 1718 or something.
Yeah.
Prey's the first predator to ever step on Earth.
Okay.
And then this, you know how Marvel always does the thing where you get a couple panels and then you open up and it's like either a page or a double page intro with like the logo and the creative team and like a little summary.
Mm.
So the little summary was dates and every movie
Oh,
that
that's dope.
that's
Oh,
happened
that's dope. All right, that's cool, man.
and like happened in the whatever desert and one guy killed him and happened in Los Angeles and one cop killed him
This
and
reminds me of X-Men, honestly, like Hickman's X-Men, where it's always got like these little transcripts and shit.
yeah. So and then like Predators where they're like sent into a game planet, finds out they're on a game planet and blah blah, blah kills the Predator and like then they do the last one that just came out, gets abducted and Predator kills the Predator, whatever. And now we're
Yeah.
in I think the last one is 2018. And then we skipped to 2052.
That's cool,
We're
man.
like human technology has advanced so much and they still can't beat the Predator.
You just said
they
they
still
killed
are
the
at
Predator
mercy
so
of
many
the,
times.
still at like at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
So like you follow this little girl who's obsessed with like documenting like weird species on planets, like kind of like Darwin, writing in journals and drawing pictures. And her dad and mom were like, "Oh, why are you away from the ship? Whatever." And it's like very alien, like how it's because obviously it's set in the same universe. So like a big giant like industry ship, just like Alien, and they're like doing whatever, and all of a sudden they hear movement and they're looking, and the dad senses some like sees the like radar. He has like a big visor on, and with his gun, and then he gets his head blown up in
Mhm.
front of the little girl and the mother.
Shit, man.
And they're running, and all the guys on the ship are like come out and are trying to like protect, and they're all getting annihilated. And the Predator gets in there and whatever, and the daughter gets locked into a part of the ship, and the ship leaves with the AI. So she's basically raised by the AI after watching both her parents get killed, and then she goes on this whole. Apparently, we'll find out this whole like adventure where she becomes the person who hunts the predators. Like she stole the ship from the company, and now is going around the universe with this AI hunting down the predator,
So she's
killing.
the alpha predator.
She's killing predators, trying to find the predator that killed her parents.
Can you tell the difference between predators? They all look.
Yes.
I'm gonna sound
So-
really bad
at
here, but they all look the same.
Damn, dude. Wow.
There's
Wow.
lizards. How lizards have all different
Wow.
patterns and stuff.
No,
They have
Am I
different
wrong?
dude.
faces,
No, man.
different
No, man.
gear.
To many, they all just look the same. They're all the same.
They're all
Man, you're a
aliens.
racist.
They're all
Wow,
aliens.
dude.
Man, forget them predators.
Jesus.
This predator in the flashback gets one of his mandibles chopped off. So when she pulls the helmet off of them after she's done, and it has all four, she's like,
So you can only tell them apart by like scars and stuff. Okay, so they all do look the same. Got it.
Wow, dude. This guy
Interesting.
just keeps it going.
Am I wrong here? Like,
right.
is that the only defining feature? Is something
No.
got cut off? Like, come on, guys.
But she's killed
I
a
had
bunch of
Predator
predators,
friends,
and
all
she
right.
wears predator gear.
Ah,
That's
So like
cool.
she's
she
dressed
does
as a
look
predator,
different.
has her own suit of predator armor, and she's hunting down predators. I think it's really interesting. I like this concept, and I can't wait to see it expanded on.
All right.
I
Nice, man.
understand. So they can tell that she's not a predator because she actually does look different.
This is where we get canceled. All right.
I'm just. Am I wrong? Like,
They're all wearing different armor. They all have different armor and stuff.
that sounds inefficient.
Okay, Manny, your project, your assignment is to watch the Predator movies.
The last Predator movie that I watched was Alien versus Predator.
All right, those don't even count. Oh, I guess they do. But like, you got to watch Predator,
Not gonna do
second
it.
Predator. You got to watch Predators. You got to watch the Predator. You got to watch the main movies.
The only good thing that came from the Predator movies was Arnold and I already forgot the other guy's name, where they do the handshake. That's the best part. That's it. You're good. Finish the movie. Wrap it up.
I will say that plot that you unfolded here for us, man. It's got me kind of intrigued. I'm
Good.
not gonna lie. I
Yeah,
always
that's been good.
like I said, I always like a classic revenge storyline, but her taking it, to the next step and traveling the fucking galaxy, just like mowing these dudes down, wearing their armor and using their weapons. All right, that sounds cool, man. That sounds cool.
I
I gotta
feel
check
like
it out.
you read Alien, so
Yeah.
I know you would
Well,
appreciate it.
I'm not caught up. I only read like I mentioned. I think like the first 5 issues, something like that.
Yeah, the first story arc, right? You read the first story arc,
Yeah, first story arc.
and I would believe you would enjoy this. It's like the same style art. It's very fun. Uh, and I like how finally Marvel now has Marvel, DC. I'm losing it. Disney now has the rights to these movies,
Yep.
and
You like
I
that?
like what?
You're happy about that?
Yeah,
Yep.
the same reason when Disney acquired Star Wars, and they like hard booted everything. They said all this Dark Horse stuff, no,
Yeah,
and
but I
everything.
feel like a lot of people are mad about that.
Yeah, but now it's like everything we put out in comic form is now canon.
Yeah.
So now it's way more accessible to get into the stuff that is now going to be referenced in the movies.
Okay.
It's cool.
And now it means that they have the rights to this stuff. There's going to be more movies because obviously Disney has all this funding. They have 2 streaming platforms. You know, it makes sense. There's going to be more. There's going to be more. I believe there's going to be an Alien series, stuff like that I'm very excited about. And both of them now having Marvel comics. People are like, why? What do you mean Marvel's making them? Why is Marvel making them if Disney owns them? And I'm like, Disney's basically using Marvel as like their comic distributor for like the other rights that they own at this point.
Yeah.
Star Wars, Predator, Alien. I wouldn't be surprised if some other Disney, that's not like a Disney thing gets put into Marvel eventually.
I gotta check it out,
So
man. Again, sounds interesting. I gotta catch up on Alien. I enjoyed the first arc. Ended up dropping off after that, but this one actually sounds like even more dope than
and the Scotty Young cover.
That was a good cover. I liked it.
that's a good cover.
I can't wait to put this side by side with my Alien cover
The Alien cover.
that he did for Alien 1.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's dope.
that's
But
my
yeah,
number 1. Okay, guys,
nice
rip
man.
it on me. What do you got number 1? You guys
I
got the
got
same
the
number
same
1?
one.
Let me guess, it's Slumber.
Slumber, 100%. Slumber, man. Dude, like,
I am disappointed that Nick didn't even have Slumber in his top 3.
yeah,
Like,
man. I'm not gonna lie.
problem.
I'm a little
There,
shocked.
you know, I'm gonna talk a lot about it in our next segment.
Mm,
Oh wow. All right.
you're out of the club,
So
man. Like, you're done.
so overall, the reason why it's my number one pick is because lately, I feel like I've been disappointed or maybe just somewhat let down with the way that some indie series and just comics, runs or series or arcs in general in Marvel, DC, whatever, where the ending has been left a little, it's left me wanting, and the endings have felt like they've been just wrapped up in like a nice bow tie. Here you go, we got to finish the story, you know it's time to wrap this shit up, wrap it up, put up the chairs, close the lights, we got to get out of here. Um but Slumber didn't feel like that at all. um Even though the ending ended up leaving it obviously open to the possibility of more books, this felt like a natural conclusion to the storyline that we have been following. In this issue, it really is finally like Stetson and crew versus Valkyra, and we end up getting what I believe is um or what I understood, the true origin of where Valkyra comes from. And this whole time, Stetson has been after Valkyra for revenge against something that ended up happening to her daughter. Manny, correct me if I'm wrong, but we still don't get full confirmation that her daughter died, right? Like,
It's there is no
I
like
mean,
panel that shows it.
right,
There's nothing like we
right,
just
okay,
kind of know like her daughter's dead.
dead,
And that's
yeah, again, but
maybe.
but again, I just want to make 100% sure that I don't, like mess up here. But we believe that her daughter is dead. And in this issue, we end up, discovering the fact that her greatest enemy actually ended up being created in a way by her daughter from
Mhm.
her, from her nightmares, from her fear, ended up giving birth to this being. Um, and we also end up finding out that Stetson has dealt with uh, nightmares as well before, and what I think is maybe like a kind of mental illness that she has, but possibly schizophrenia, something like that. And she ends up believing that that uh, her past has affected her daughter, so I thought that revelation was great, man. It adds like so much more weight, and so much like it adds more of an emotional impact to everything that's happening. But the showdown was awesome, man. Like seeing Jiang like hold down the uh police like force that's after her in the real world, and him just seeing like mowing down these officers. It was just hilarious, man. And like the way that he ended up going about it. But the final fight between Stetson and Makira, it was emotional, man. Like Stetson ended up letting out all of her emotion, all of the anger, um you know uh that she has. And she ended up accepting the fact that pretty much her daughter's gone, you know but she uses that as her strength to finally be able to like survive and end up beating Bakura. And the ending, knowing that she kind of has like her own little nightmare, but that she's able to, I guess, control, is what I um understood, or at least I don't know, or maybe it's just all in her head, and it's this nightmare that she's given like a kind of persona to. But pretty much, her making the vow that she's gonna continue on like taking down nightmares. I thought it was awesome, man. It was just a great conclusion, great showdown. And I really didn't find anything wrong with this issue, so that's why it was my number one pick.
It's
So
also my number one pick, and I think that Jiang, or however you pronounce his name, stole the show. Everything he did was great.
yep,
Everything was like in character of who he is, for what we know he is.
yep,
But I thought that it was nothing was cliche about this story. Nothing like that you could just predict because
yep,
you've read a similar story. Like everything
yep.
was new, and the art in this, while it's not, I would never say that it's like the most beautiful art. Like this art compared to Middleton wins, right?
Of course.
But the art works perfectly for this story, and it
And
is
what
good
it is.
art, for
Yep.
what it is. The characters are great. I don't see what Stetson said about how she has this same problem in her family that runs in the family for her daughter. I don't see that as like controlling her nightmares or anything like that. Like you keep talking about control. I don't see it that way, but I can also see it that way. Like now that you bring it up, I'm like, oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
I can agree with that. And that's one of the things that I also loved about this book is that it can be interpreted in very different ways. There's sometimes where it's like I interpret a book one way, somebody else interprets it a different way, and I'm just like, well, you're wrong for these reasons. But this is like there's so many things that could happen, and every
Mhm.
single one of these paths is a good path.
Plausible.
It's
Uh-huh.
possible. Exactly.
Yep.
So the way I saw it was more like she we think or she thinks that she has a mental illness or something, or no, she thinks that she can keep these nightmares at bay, and that no matter what nightmare she kills, they stay with her. And me as a reader, I'm like, oh well, she has a mental illness, but maybe it is a power that she has. Who knows? And then she misdiagnoses her daughter to have the same mental illness as her.
Mhm.
But then again, it's like, no, you know what? Your daughter can actually see an actual monster. It's an actual possession.
Mhm.
Uh, but by the end of the book, you see that now she does have her daughter with her. That's another nightmare that stays with her. So like she
Yeah.
does get to keep her daughter
And
around,
and
but not really.
and her daughter / nightmare. Because again, I'm still not, I mean, I'm still not
you can
fully.
interpret it in ways,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, does say, hey, there's people out there that need our help. Like, and the last line is, when do we get to work?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And I will say another thing is I don't know his name. I did not care about this character very much. I thought it was very funny and whatever. The cop that went in there, and I was like,
detective. Yeah.
What's his name?
The detective.
Yeah, the detective. I didn't really care about him, but when I saw that he was stuck in the dream world, like the red door was destroyed, immediately I was like, oh shit, he's gonna be pissed. He's gonna be the villain for the next story, or like how are they gonna get him out? Or like there's so many possibilities with him, and I love it. Like because I didn't really think about him, but now it's like he's an important piece to the next puzzle.
Yep.
And so I really this is a fantastic ending to the series.
Yep.
Really hope we get a volume 2. I loved it.
But if we don't, it's okay.
It's a good ending. It's a hyped up ending.
Manny, make it blue.
Are you sad?
Make it blue. I got things to say.
Are you sad?
Yes.
Why? What's wrong, man? You okay?
I got disappointing moment of the week.
Cry about it.
Oh my god.
This series sucks.
I'm gonna edit all of this out, by the way. Anyways, continue.
It's not good. It's not good. Slumber's not good.
Not good.
Slumber's not good.
Wow.
And I've read around it. I've been in this since the beginning. I got it when it came out. And overall, I guess you could say, it's a solid series and it's cool. But this ending, this whole issue made me realize this is garbage.
State your case, man. Like really state your case.
Okay. So besides the fact of it being it's just bad. Sucks. Artwork is a little weird. Whatever. That's not a big deal. The ending, right? The fact that this is no one knows if there's gonna be a volume 2, and then you advertise, trade paperback volume 1, and the whole how it ends.
I gotta cut you
off.
How it
ends and everything.
I gotta cut you off real quick though. It doesn't matter whether a book is gonna have a volume 2 or not. Whenever any run,
it does.
Even if it's
does because I have a reasoning.
Even if it's confirmed that that's it, it's done, it's closed with, dude, they're all volume 1.
Yeah, but they did this because what happens in the last issue? Oh, the demon guy all of a sudden steals the show and now I have all these questions. There's no origin for him. I have no idea. I thought he was just going to be like this background character that we didn't need to care about, whatever. Then you make me want to know all this stuff, and then it's over. But here's a bunch of loose ends, and maybe there's an issue 1. There's a volume 1, volume 2.
But there isn't a bunch of loose ends. The fact that we don't know like his true origin, that's not a loose end because that was never something that was.
No, I didn't say that was a loose end. You're not listening to me.
What are the loose ends?
I'm saying, calm down and let me talk.
All right.
This is my time.
All right.
This is me. My disappointment.
All right.
But you're wrong.
I was complaining about how it made me love this character in the last issue with almost no development the entire series. And now the end, I'm now like, what the hell? Like, I need to know more about this guy. And now it's over. And then the loose ends being like, now she has this demon. They're going to go hunt demons. Now he's stuck in the red door. Like, all these questions are now like, potentially the series is over.
So you're not disappointed with the series. You're disappointed with you're not disappointed with the series. You're disappointed that you don't know if you're going to get more. Because the series is so good and you want more.
In the pacing of the whole series, how it was kind of very like build up, and then at the end, this big boom, and then it doesn't end.
So you would rather it be
and there's just floating chunks of planet hovering around, waiting for them to hit me.
You would rather it be wrapped up in a pretty little bow, and whether
either wrapped up or just be like, hey, it's not over. Like, we'll see you in that issue 7.
But it's not over. Like, it's for sure confirmed. It's not over. Whether we get a volume 2 or not, it's not over. That's what they said. Let's go start hunting some demons.
and that's
The,
it.
Yeah,
the story
I
continues.
don't like series that do that. That say, "Oh yeah, the
But,
series isn't over,
but
but it's
think of it.
over."
Hold on, but think of it like a movie, dude. I mean, like whenever you get like badass characters and they say, yeah, like you know, let's go, like kick ass, and the characters at the end
You
or
guys
like
are
the
just
heroes,
biased.
and that's it. You know that they're gonna continue doing what they're doing. Otherwise, there'd be no end to any story or any movie, like or any.
We don't really find out what happens with her husband. We
I would be disappointed with this if like she died at the end, the detective dies at the end, like everyone basically died. Jiang like escapes the jail, whatever, gets shot to death or whatever, and then that's the end of the story. Like we had all these questions and now there is no more. But like now that we do have,
my issue is that I have too many questions.
but none of those questions that you have actually matters to the story that was told.
It does. I just think if all right, I think I'd be
The story
less
that was
upset
told was
if the
finished.
demon shit, if the Zhang shit didn't happen, if he had just stayed quiet. Like
But
I don't think I would be as mad, but I'm mad because now you made me get all hyped
You're
on
but
this
that's a good
character.
disappointed
thing.
that you like the story so much and you want more.
No, I just don't think it was good. I think the pacing was bad. I think they should have these things should have been like triple because honestly, I've reread each issue
Okay.
as we've gone, and I think it's boring.
So I will go
I
back.
think there's things that are exciting, but like the mass of the issue is kind of boring and really weird. And then eventually we just get this big bang at the end when it could have gotten spread out and like built on, and like we could know a little bit more, and I wouldn't feel as mad. But now like I don't have any like I'm not craving anything until the
Right.
last issue. I don't care about a lot of these. I didn't care about the detective. I didn't care about Zhang. I didn't care about this, that, the other, or the fiance. I didn't care about them. And
Well,
now
I
I
mean,
care about them, and it's over, but it's not over. But like it wasn't solid enough ending for
When
me to be
volume
like,
2 comes
yeah, like
out, you better not pick it up.
this part, this chapter is over. I don't feel like it did that. Like,
I
yeah,
don't.
the arc is over, but still not because there's so many plot points
You
that
don't
were like,
deserve to pick up volume 2. All right. When it comes out, you're not allowed to read it.
I don't want it. I'm
Yes,
gonna
you
sell
do.
my
Yes,
copies
you
of
do.
this.
So I'll compare this with Twig, right? If Twig had done this, if Twig had the 5 issues of Twig would have been like, oh, my father died. I'm the new whatever it was, the
Placeling,
pathfinder. What is it?
placeling.
Placeling. I'm the new placeling, and he gets like caught by that one trapper guy, and that's like the first 5 issues of him getting past that, or just going through the land and like actually exploring the land around him in the first level, because like we've seen him go through like so many different landscapes, like there's so many stories in each one of those, right? So would you prefer that Slumber be like Twig and it would have skipped all this, and now we've got this wrapped up story and it finishes, Valkyra is dead, her daughter is either dead or brought back, and Jian goes back to the dream world, and the detective and his wife are nice and happily married? Like, would you have preferred that instead of what we got?
I just wish we had no. I think you're not understanding my issue here. Is
You
I
have
wish
questions.
there was just more information about all these other characters spread out throughout the series and not just like banged into the last issue. Like we had no Zhang development until the last issue, and not
He
even
didn't
real
really develop.
development.
He didn't
Well,
develop in this last issue either.
hold on, the exact
Yeah, but
there's
all of
no
a sudden he has a personality.
He's
no,
always
dude,
had that
dude,
personality.
Yeah, but it
dude,
wasn't that like
dude.
in your face.
He's always had that. I'm hungry. I want to eat a human. He just got a little bit more time to shine here. But there was nothing that was developed about his character or who he is or anything. He just had epic moments that you ended up liking. That's really what happened. And to me, the story for
Carlos, I'm sorry, but you have bad taste.
You are wrong, sir.
we'll
Your
agree.
disappointment.
We'll, we'll agree to disagree because your disappointment
It's
is
not
more.
a top 3 book.
Your
All right.
disappointment makes no
It's
sense.
not a top
This
3 book.
this series made me like my character so much, and I'm upset that it ended because I wanted more.
No,
if your disappointment was that it ended,
I
great.
wanted them to
that's a
do it
good-
differently. I wish they should have. I think they should have done it differently. I don't like the way they finish out the series. I didn't like, and it's an it's a thing I couldn't have determined until I read the whole thing, until it's over. And now when I look back at it, I don't like a lot of the choices they made editorial wise, and like
You're
I
wrong.
think I think I would have liked the story if it was paced and placed around a little bit differently, a lot more. But reading this last issue, well, it was good. It wasn't top three.
You are very wrong.
You guys are just you guys are upset that everyone hopped on 8 billion genies and
Your
you're trying to
opinion is
hype train
wrong.
up Slumber.
Just
No.
accept that your opinion is off.
No, agree to
I'm
disagree.
disappointed
Agree to
Guys,
disagree.
if
'Cause
you agree
that's
that
not what
Slumber isn't that great, I want you to thumbs up the video. And when the video this gets the most thumbs up Manny's ever gotten, Manny's gonna have to admit that he was wrong.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I don't
Sure.
know. I don't know.
Support me because these two groupies over here, like
Moving on.
Only for the good.
Moving on to my disappointment.
it's blue.
I feel like my disappointment, for the most part, is always gonna be related to Spider-Man, man. I can't let it go. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much I'm actually, enjoying, the issues again. But yeah, man, my disappointment is that it's that Marvel just doesn't know. Either they don't know what to do, or they actively just like spit in the face of fans of uh Peter and MJ. Like they
Yeah.
treat MJ like, I don't know, man. They treat her like a second rate cast member, you know? Um I'm disappointed that she's from news and like press releases that are coming out. She's basically gonna be in Peter's life, but now she's gonna be hanging out with the X-Men, and she's gonna have some sort of role with the X-Men. uh not that long ago she was hanging out with like Tony Stark, and she was doing like things here and there, and I just don't like that direction, man. That
Did you read Hellfire Gala?
Yeah, I did.
I think is she gonna hang out with the X Men past that?
Yeah, well, there's the whole chasm storyline, or like coming up. A lot of that has to do with the X-Men,
Yeah.
and her involvement as being a representative of, or like a spokesperson for the Krakoan drugs, and Moira X, like using her to infiltrate um uh, Krakoa, and like the X-Men. So I don't know, man. It just I'm just disappointed that they are blatantly saying we're gonna disregard the one thing that, like, in my opinion, maybe not the one thing, the best thing that like Nick Spencer started working on and setting up, and what was building towards for the last couple years, man. And they're just gonna throw that away and say, nah, like Peter Parker, he has to be relatable. He can't grow up. He can't be happy, in a relationship. So we're gonna just, completely destroy that. And then we're gonna have, MJ in his life, but it's gonna be, all of these like random roles, and her just popping up sporadically here and there. Like it just irks me, man, and I can't let it go. It just seems like every week, as a Spider-Man fan, you're taking a loss, man. Like, you just get like beat up. So that's what I'm disappointed in, man. That we just keep on getting news about uh the
Okay.
the direction of MJ, and Peter, and leave leave my boy alone, man. Just leave him alone. So that's my
And
disappointment.
even in this issue, like her going to Norman of all people, like it made
Not
no
a
sense.
character.
Yeah, completely out of character. Like, hey, I want to make sure this is safe. Let me go to the Goblin. He's reformed now, so it makes sense. No, it doesn't.
No,
She would never go to him.
no.
So yeah, I agree. It
You
sucks.
got
But
like you got, and I think that you mentioned this, Manny. Like you got Reed Richards. I
Yeah.
mean, you know what I mean? Like Reed Richards. You
You know
obviously
Tony Stark.
Tony Stark, and he'd be willing to help you out without even like batting an eye. Uh, come on, man. Like
There's just so many smarter people. You know Peter Parker. Peter Parker is a smart ass man, and he probably doesn't have the equipment, but he would find a way to help you. Like,
and I get the whole like awkwardness between them, but I don't know, man. And while the whole, what did Peter end up doing 6 months ago hasn't really, detracted from the storylines that I've been told, and I have been enjoying it. If we continue to get this, like these weird interactions between him and MJ, and like, oh, something happened, it's awkward, and they keep on hinting it for like 10 more issues, it's gonna get to a point where like, all right, dude, this is eye rolling, this is annoying. Like, either tell us what happened or move the fuck on.
We're supposed to find out at issue 9, aren't we?
What happened?
Yeah.
Not from my understanding. Isn't issue 9 where he revisits the whole event that happened with Gwen Stacy? Or is that
No,
issue 10?
that's issue 8.
That's issue 8. Okay, then maybe it's coming. Hopefully we get it soon. But again, if we continue,
I believe the whole Wolverine, like Hellfire Gala thing is supposed to happen in issue 9, and then we're supposed to find out what happened.
Man, you guys are reading ahead. I have no idea what you're talking about.
What?
So you guys are reading the solicitations ahead because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
well, that's what it says in Hellfire Gala. It says to be continued in Spider-Man issue 9.
Yeah, but anyways, that's my disappointment, man. Spider-Man related again.
Big highlight though was seeing Miss Marvel make a citizen cameo.
Yeah, that was weird. It just came out of nowhere, but I liked it a lot.
That was dope, and you know what,
man? It was well placed.
Yeah. I'm hoping that she becomes a supporting cast member, like a legit reporting. Like
you got my disappointment for that issue was how it started out. Did you guys know who that character was talking to Vulture? Because I knew.
But that's his daughter.
Granddaughter.
Or
Starling, is that her name? That's like the girl that has like a relationship right now with Miles.
Yeah.
That's probably who told her about the
it is. You see that in Miles Morales Spider-Man, they already have had this whole big conversation about
why is there disappointment with it?
Because I don't assume that everyone that reads Spider-Man also reads Miles. So like to have like a plot line that was like heavily involved in Miles.
I mean, dude,
to start off the issue.
I guess. I mean, that's just
without blatantly having like an asterisk be like, actually it was Miles in an issue.
Yes. I would say that I absolutely agree. That
because if you just throw her in there, first off, there's a potential possibility you have no idea who this girl is and that she's a superhero.
Yeah, but imagine this is the first Spider-Man book that you ever pick up. You don't know who the Vulture is either, anything. But I agree, like the asterisk.
Know who the Vulture is because of the movies.
I mean, not 100%.
The asterisk though, I agree with. But yeah, I mean that.
And usually Marvel's really good with like highlighting where like references are coming from. They're usually pretty on point. Way more on point than DC ever is. Like normally Marvel's very good with their reference points.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what's my.
I'm shocked that they started off the issue with
Speaking of like those little points, Batgirls had a really good one this week with their little text boxes and stuff. Like they were talking to us and like literally just talking to us and instead of just like saying, "Hey, this was here," and that's it.
Yep. So.
And we're like, thank you for
thank you for reading the books and all this stuff. Yeah,
that was really cool.
So I've decided that when I don't have a disappointment this week that I can think of at the moment, but when I don't have a disappointment, I'll just talk about the last book on my list and see if you guys read it. So my last ranking was Superman, Son of Kal-El. Did you guys read that?
No, I dropped that a while ago.
All right. Above that is the Avengers, X-Men, Eternals.
Nope, not reading that stupid event.
I read it.
Then above that is Prodigy, and then above that is Power Rangers 22. So it goes up to 8 billion. So,
Oh, come on! Why is
What?
Power Rangers so low?
Because it was just all right. We'll talk about Power Rangers. I won't spoil much, but this is so Power Rangers 22 is the ending of this series before it goes into the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 101 issue or 100 issue. 100.
I believe it's going the Death Special, like the Death Ranger, and then 100.
I don't know. Either way, that was the last
I believe
of
it's
this
Power
series.
Rangers Legacy or whatever, Death Ranger, and then which is what this ties directly into.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it was the last one. I'm not a huge fan of Andros to begin with, and then his choices here just kind of solidified that. And then the fact that I just gave Nick shit for being pissed off about Slumber not ending in a pretty bow, but I just felt like Power Rangers should have ended a little bit better than what we got because it wasn't
ongoing for a long time.
No, it just directly leads to the Mighty Morphin series, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series, which is great and all, but like Mighty Morphin 22 just ended, and it was a good like, hey, this is the last issue. You know that things are gonna happen in the future, but it was a good like last issue. This one didn't feel like a last issue. It hardly even felt like a last issue of the arc. It just felt like, hey, things happened. This is the climax.
Because it's not the last issue of the arc. It leads directly into an event book.
Yeah, it's the last issue of this arc.
Issue 100.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's the last issue of this series, and then it leads to an event book, and then it leads into a new series.
Okay.
But it didn't really end. That's what I'm saying. Like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers book is leading to this series as well. Not directly like Power Rangers is, but it is leading to this Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. But it felt like an ending, so that's why it's so low in my ranking.
I like it because there was like a big event, creates this huge problem in the end towards the end of this book, and then the end is the remaining people from Power Rangers going to the people in Mighty Morphin and be like, hey, we need your help.
Mm-hmm.
And then goes into this event book that's coming out. And I liked it. I thought that was a good way to unite the two titles, bring it into this event, and then bring everything back together to be Mighty Morphin Power Rangers again.
I hate it because it just left me with so many questions, and like it got me all excited about all these characters, and it left me with so many questions.
You sound like my disappointment of Slumber. You're a hypocrite. You're
I'm literally saying that.
Carlos, yell at him.
Do you understand what sarcasm is?
No.
I'm just making fun of you. No, it was just it was a whatever ending.
All right.
So it wasn't my disappointment. It wasn't even on the last of my list, but it was just not up there.
Because your list sucks. All right. With that being said, we move on to covers of the week.
Oh yeah, I forgot about covers.
Power Rangers 22.
Damn. I owe Manny 20 friendship bucks.
We're even.
All right, it's fine.
Yeah.
Called it. You got the not connecting, but the set, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
No.
Very cool.
Yes, I did.
Very cool.
White and silver.
Very cool. For me, it's Slumber number 6, the B cover by Mattel Scalera. Like, this cover is just dope, man. I love the detail. I love the monster in the shadow. I love the concept. The artwork is it's great. I love the way that color is used here. Yeah, man. It stands out. It's a unique cover. Great horror. Piece of art for the horror comic collection. So yeah, that's why it's my number 1 pick. Followed very closely, but by what I believe is going to be Manny's number 1 pick. But who knows? He could have.
My top cover was, which looking at it online, I'm looking at it here. At first I was like, no, this wasn't. It was good. I'm glad I bought it, but it's not that great. But then looking at it in person, it just artwork wise, it beat out the Slumber cover just barely, and so that's Batgirls number 9. Is it number 9? Yeah.
Yeah.
I passed on
from-
it actually.
It was good. It's got that white background. Cast has a weird pose, but it is what it is. But I think it was the best cover that I got in my stack today.
It's
Like
my
the Slumber one was good emotionally, and like I knew the backstory behind it, and like seeing the monster come up in the shadows, that was really cool. But ultimately, Batgirls won.
yeah. Batgirls.
This would have been my runner up.
Oh, nice.
There was a bunch of Predator covers I really wanted, but my shop didn't get like the ones that I cared that much about.
Yeah.
So
Batgirls my runner-up cover. My second place.
okay,
Alright.
so this leaves us onto what are we excited about next week?
Yep.
Here we go.
So I get to start us off. Looking at my poll list for next week. The obvious thing on here. There's three obvious things. World's Finest is like just the hit.
Mhm.
It's just a great book.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, me and Carlos are now on Do a Power Bomb. Super excited.
It's good. Enjoy it.
It's a really fun, weird book. And then new issue of Nightwing's coming out.
Nice.
But then throwing in that curveball, we got The Last Shadowhawk from Image Comics. And if you don't know, I love me some 90s Image.
Oh
Love
man,
me some trash.
I can't back you up on that one, man.
I love me some 90s Image. I love it.
Um,
But on a serious note, Daredevil #2. Very excited.
very cool.
Is that next week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it not coming up online?
Yeah. Next week.
That's weird.
Next week for me, man, I'm actually excited for so much. Probably like right off the bat, though, I am probably the most excited for the return of Barbaric. One of my favorite titles, man, of last year. 100%. But Barbaric is coming back. Axe to Grind is the name of this volume, #1. Just pure action, fucking awesome comedy, awesome action. Yeah, man, it's awesome. And then I got a couple of indie books here that I want to highlight for everybody that's watching that seem very interesting. One of them I don't even know how to pronounce it, but like True Celt, maybe it's TRVE, then space KV
Oh, yes.
by IDW Publishing. I just want to read this synopsis really quick, man, because it sounds hilarious. Marty Tarantella has been flipping burgers for 15 years. He has no kids, no hobbies, no love interests, and essentially no life. But what he does have is a plan to change everything. Years of watching the daily rhythms of the neighboring stores has given Marty the idea for a perfect heist. But when he accidentally steals a supernatural weapon from a cult full of violent lunatics, the resulting satanic panic will be way above his minimum wage pay grade. This just sounds like it just sounds like shenanigans, man. you know. So I'm really excited for that one. Another one that I'm excited for, from this is a from Scout Comics. It's called The Shepherd, The Pit, #1. Just sounds really interesting. And I'm also really excited for Strange #5. Strange has been one of my favorite titles, so I'm excited for that. And then, of course, the classics, man. Nightwing, Daredevil, Captain Marvel. Really been loving Captain Marvel. Batman, Superman, World's Finest. Just to finish it off, man, I'm excited for every book next week. Like I really am excited for every single book next week. The continuation of Age of Spider-Verse. Yeah, man, it's just a lot of stuff,
Yeah,
man.
just don't leave any books for me. That's fine. It's cool.
All of them.
I'll just
Everything.
follow.
Yeah.
We're
Just follow.
Angel, Catwoman, Flash. Yeah.
No,
just
so yeah, what you guys said, but basically what I am looking forward to. So I'm trying to cut some books out. So I have Black Adam and Promethe and Triskel from Scout Comics. Those are on the chopping block at the moment. So I'm excited to read them to either find out whether, hey, you guys just didn't make it. I need to get rid of something, and unfortunately, because I've been enjoying the books, it's just I need to cut something out.
Yep.
And I have a feeling that Prometheus and Triskel are gonna go away. Black Adam needs to blow me away, or else it's going away too. But yeah, Captain Marvel, like you said, very excited to read that. And then Miss Marvel and Moon Knight. After reading Miss Marvel and Wolverine this week, again, it didn't make my top 3, but it was a great book. I'm excited to see that same, because the story is progressing into the Miss Marvel and Moon Knight. So want to see what's going on with that storyline and how Moon Knight is even affected by this, and how he's going to interact with Miss Marvel, because they're two very different characters. So really excited to see that. And then you gave up on this book, but Ordinary Gods comes out.
Okay.
And it's just it's a slow burn, but it's a good story. I think I need to reread everything.
Yeah.
So I think I need to reread everything from number 1. This is issue number 8.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I gave up on issue number 5.
Well, they went on break for like 4 months, 5
forever,
months,
dude. Yeah,
it was a long time.
I gave up on issue number 5, but maybe I gotta pick it up again.
I'll let you know after I read this one.
I got really excited with like the first issue, and the second issue still had me, but I don't know, man. I ended up getting lost by issue 3, and then 4 and 5 I was kind of like, I don't know.
And Never Ender number 4 comes out. Number 3 finally picked up the stakes a little bit, and it looks like the story is going to progress a little bit more. So number 4, I don't think I'm going to drop Never Ender at all, but again, another slow burn. The first 2 books were just kind of like explaining the whole world, and then now it's actually telling a story. So technically, even though it's issue 4, this is kind of like issue 2 in my book. So, but yeah, no, it's still a good week.
Very cool, man. Nice. That's it. I don't got anything else.
That is our show, the weekly roundup, every week, released on Tuesday on YouTube at Manny Reads Comics. Check us out individually on Instagram. We all have really cool Instagrams with like mini reviews, and Manny does a whole bunch of really short clip videos that are really cool. You check out my YouTube channel at The Vinyl Casket, all one word. And yeah, tune in every week. Check out our weekly roundup. It's the shit. Thank you guys.
Thanks everybody.
Boom.
See you guys.